examples of those you probably want to talk about.
Well, two examples come to mind. One is the Zarbon fight against Vegeta. Vegeta was, I believe, around what, 21k? Is it 21 or
Vegeta
24k?
was, I think, around 23. He
23k.
basically scaled up to Goku's Kaioken times 3, for example.
And him and Zarbon going at it, and he forced Zarbon to have to transform because Zarbon was getting outclassed. He couldn't keep up with them. Like Vegeta was just so ferocious, he needed to transform. Yada yada. He gets beat up. Vegeta gets the Zenkai supposedly, and now he's a little bit stronger than Zarbon to the point to where we talked about it. He did sort of catch Zarbon off guard, but at the same time, he outputted enough power to literally blast a hole through this guy. You know what I mean? And that was a very insignificant difference between them. So
Yeah.
another example would be the Raccoon fight, Raccoon versus Vegeta. Vegeta powered up, gave Raccoon everything he had, strongest hit, because he was trying to take Raccoon out of the game. He did not want to have all Guinea Force members piling up on him. He wanted to just take him out as fast as he could, and Raccoon got up, and while he was scraped and scuffled, he got up, and literally he was not phased at all by the attack. He was just, hey. So,
I mean, his clothes were a little bit messed up, his hair was a little bit burnt, but that's about it. And the thing is, like, Vegeta, when he got his Zenkai against Zarbon the first time, Vegeta had just fought Zarbon's power in his transformed state, and so Vegeta's Zenkai put him over Zarbon. So Vegeta's Zenkai placed him around 30,000. I know people don't want to use power levels, but during the Frieza saga, up till the end of the Frieza saga, they're still pretty much valid. They are something given to us by Toriyama and Toei, and they fit into the general power scaling of that, of that example. So Vegeta wasn't that much above Zarbon. I mean, he did throw that dirt in his eyes and take him off guard, but he punched through him and he blasted a gigantic hole in him. So again, that's not that big of a difference in power, and Vegeta still beat him. Another great example I would have to say would be Vegeta versus Kui. Now, when Vegeta first gets to Namek, and Kui is there, Kui is bragging about how he's the same power level as Vegeta, like they're both 18,000.
Yeah.
And that was Vegeta's power level, when he was on Earth. However, Kui didn't take into account the Zenkai boost that Vegeta had been getting during his fights, when he was off in space, and then when he fought against Goku on Earth. So Vegeta was 23,000, so like 5,000, maybe 6,000 if we say 24 above Kui, which would put him about 20 to 25% stronger.
Yeah.
And he straight up annihilates Kui in their fight. So again, it seems like a lot of the times from what we see, that 20%, 25% difference is really all you need to just be better than your opponent. And I think another great example to bring up in this case would have to be Goku versus Frieza. And I don't mean Goku... Well, I guess we can use them building up to that. So, like, when Goku shows up, his power level is 3 million when he fights against Frieza.
Yeah.
And Frieza, he can power up to, like, he goes up to 50%. Goku uses the Kaioken times 10, and Frieza's still beating him down without too much effort. When Goku's using the Kaioken times 10, Frieza's using, like, 50%. So he's about 2 times stronger, and he's just, like, annihilating Goku for the most part.
Yeah.
And Goku only has, like, the chance, once he powers up to his Kaioken times 20, to where he can hit Frieza and knock him away, because they're equal at that point. And then he blasts him with the Kamehameha, but Frieza cancels it out. So you could pretty much be on par with your opponent, maybe like 1,000 or so difference, or whatever it needs to be, million, whatever. But, like, when you're equal, you pretty much can cancel or fight each other and, like, take blasts. But Goku, like, being less than 2 times at certain points weaker than Frieza, was still getting, like, annihilated by him in terms of their fight. Like, Frieza was not really trying that difficult. Like, he wasn't trying that hard. But then when he powers up into Super Saiyan, well, Frieza is only, like, 20% weaker than Goku, because he has 120, Goku has 150, and Goku just is beating him the entire fight. Like, Frieza gets in one good shot, which is when he rams him into the ground. And as we know in the Dragon Ball Z anime, there's a whole filler episode in which Gohan fights Frieza, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in the manga, he just jumps right back out of the ground not that long afterwards, and his clothes are a little bit damaged. There was no lava or anything like that in the that we can tell in the manga. So, like, it seems pretty clear that that 20% difference was enough for Goku to just have this guy beaten the whole fight, and then Frieza's stamina just took him down to the end.
Yeah.
So, like, can you think of any other good examples, though, MJ?
In the Namek arc,
In general, I guess, because I mean, we already kind of breezed through the Namek arc and everything up until this point. When you think about it,
I would probably say the Buu arc with I would probably say Fat Buu, Majin Buu, whatever you like to call him, against Majin Vegeta. That's another example because
yeah,
Majin Vegeta was squared up equal with SS2 Goku, and from the fight with SS3 Goku and Fat Buu, Majin Buu, we can kind of assume that they were sort of equal, but it seemed like Goku did have the advantage just due to the fact that he does state in the manga, I believe, that he could have killed Fat Buu if he wanted to, or at least if he actually tried to.
Yeah.
So Fat Buu would probably still be around. He wouldn't exactly be 4 times SS2 Vegeta, but he would be sort of close to it. And then we saw what he did to Vegeta. He mopped the floor with him, so.
I mean, honestly, I feel like Fat Buu wasn't that many times stronger than Vegeta. I always kind of placed Fat Buu at being like a couple times stronger, maybe a little bit more than that. But
a lot of people use the example of Goten and Trunks being able to hit him.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people use that.
Oh yeah, you can. Well, I mean, Goten and Trunks do hit him. They do catch him off guard, but like, Buu doesn't really seem at that many points to really be trying to not take damage because he has such hacks regeneration. It doesn't even matter if he takes damage. But
Yeah.
the fact that Vegeta can still hurt this guy like many times, and then Buu only really gets to have a big advantage once he gets pissed off later in the fight and he takes off Vegeta's arm and they start using those other techniques. I feel like Buu is maybe around like a little bit more than twice as much because Goku as a Super Saiyan 3 is 4 times stronger than Vegeta as a Super Saiyan 3, more or less. So, or Super Saiyan 2, actually. So that means, he's 4 times as strong. Well, if he's dominating Buu too, but Buu is losing to Vegeta, you could place those in that area. I mean, Buu wasn't taking a huge amount of damage, but at the same time, I don't know if Goku was really going all out as a Super Saiyan 3, because as he did say, I could have beaten him as a Super Saiyan 3. So it does make sense that maybe he's 2 to 3 times stronger than Vegeta, and that's still, again, a margin of error that allows for Goku to beat him, even if it's only like 25% difference. Again, there is that example.
Yeah.
Another example, though, MJ, that you can elaborate on would be Gotenks versus Super Buu, and then Gohan versus, like, the two of them. So would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, you're referring to SS3 Gotenks against Super Buu. Now, there's actually a pretty big misconception on this, right? I believe it's because of the dub. I don't remember if the sub has it, but the dub adds the line that he was waiting for Gohan, right? And that Gotenks was just a plaything for him. When if you read the manga and watch the sub version, you would know that that's not really actually the case.
Well, he was waiting for, like, I feel like he might have been able to sense Gohan far away. But the thing is, like, Gohan still pretty much shows that Gotenks is stronger than Buu because, well, you can talk about it a little bit, but I'll just say real quick that Gohan lets Gotenks fight Buu after Gohan fought him, so he must believe that he's stronger, and he could actually beat him.
Yeah, that's a great example because, like, to stick to the actual fight though, like when you actually go and analyze that fight and manga, whatever you would read or read, but Super Buu, he is like landing hits on Gotenks, and they don't really seem to be. I mean, they're damaging them, but they're not really phasing them. You get that, like they're not really really hurting Gotenks to the point to where like he's needs help or he's getting seriously injured. But at the same time, like there is a gap there where Buu can like sort of keep up with Gotenks and see his movements. But at the same time, though, when Piccolo got angry and Gotenks were wanting to finish it, he sort of did mock. Buu was really about to get murdered by Gotenks when he started to use his full power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You remember that scene with him just like all standing, all messed up with smoke coming off of him. Like he was really about to like just blow him away with whatever move he was charging up, and that would tell you again, there's not that big of a difference there. I mean, about 20% difference, 25%?
Yeah, in my video where I talked about how strong Gohan is, or Gotenks, I said that I think that Buu was maybe around 20% weaker than Super Gotenks, and again, a lot of people think he was stronger, but Gohan comes in and he straight up annihilates, like he's just wrecking Boo.
Yeah.
And after he's done wrecking him and Boo comes back, Gotenks fuses together, and then Gohan sees how powerful they are as a Super Saiyan 3, and he's like, okay, you guys can fight, just be careful. So Gohan just saw Super Boo at his full power. Alright, he was fighting him, Boo was trying as hard as he could, but he could not match Gohan no matter what he did, because Gohan was too much stronger than he was. And then Gohan says Gotenks can fight him, so obviously that means that Gohan believes that Gotenks is stronger than Super Boo, and we haven't seen anything that contradicts that, so it makes sense to say he was, but he was able to basically endure it, because I think a lot of it's also because Gotenks kind of messed up during their fight, and he told Boo how long it takes for him to have to fuse back together, and how long the fusion lasts, which Boo then uses to like wait until they can fuse again, absorb him, and last as long as he can in that fused form. So like Gohan, though, we'll have to say in terms of his power. Now, I don't think Gohan was tens of times or anything stronger than Boo. I think it's safe to say that Gohan was about maybe at the most twice, and I think it's less than twice, and I'll say why. Because Boo's absorption is portrayed as being, addition. Alright, so he even says, once I add their power to my own, once I add Piccolo's mind and add the power of Gotenks, I'll be unstoppable. Now, Gohan is stronger than he's stronger than Gotenks and Super Boo individually, okay? But once they fuse together, they start to dominate Gohan. They, like, the Super Boo tanks, as you can refer to him as, starts to dominate Gohan, alright? And that would mean that Gohan is individually stronger than both of them by a good margin, especially because he's dominating Super Boo. But at the same time, he is himself not as strong as both of them added together, so that would mean that he's less than twice as strong as Super Boo. And I talked about this a little bit in my How Strong is Gotenks video. I think it's safe to say that he might be 1.5 to maybe 1.7 times stronger than Super Boo was, and maybe 1.5 times Gotenks, but you add those two together and they're stronger than Gohan, they could beat him in a fight. And so once again, we could see that the difference in their power is not that big. However, in terms of Dragon Ball logic, in terms of the internal logic of the show, 2 times difference is substantial and gigantic, because we talked about recently too, the Dragon Ball Super example, how much stronger did Black get when he turned into his Super Saiyan Bros or anything like that. Well, let's look at it this way. If Black gets 2 times stronger in his transformation, now 2 times doesn't seem like a lot to us because we're so used to such big numbers, but 2 times is way stronger than Super Saiyan God, alright? So 2 times would mean that Black could theoretically destroy 2 times as many, universes or whatever that Goku can. Super Saiyan Blue might be 10 times stronger than the Super Saiyan God transformation. At this point, if they're 3 times stronger than they were, at that point in their base after Battle of Gods, or after the training release, then that would mean they'd be 30 times. So that would mean that they could theoretically destroy 15 to 30 universes with their punches, and Black would be twice as strong, arguably, as that, or 1.5 times, so he could theoretically destroy 1.5 times as much. So again, it sounds small to us, but it's gigantic, because back in the day, 3,000 power level was a big difference over someone, and now if you add 1.5 times, that's adding trillions of power levels on top of it, and a trillion power level can blow up the universe or whatever it needs to be. So again, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
MJ, can you think of any other good examples before I guess we just end our discussion, or figure out what just give a good final conclusion as to how strong we really think they need to be?
I'm trying to come up with one for GT and Super, but
oh god, we're going to be here all day, because apparently in GT, characters in their base forms are stronger than Super Boo, despite the fact that they shouldn't have even trained the entire time, Goten. And then Gohan can go Super Saiyan on top of Mystic, I guess. I don't freaking know at that point.
I guess Trunks versus Goku in Super episode 49. I guess, because in the anime it's different than what it is in the manga, but it seemed like Trunks was able to sort of push back SS to Goku. Like, it seemed like Goku was doing alright, but he was getting pushed back, so I'll give Trunks that. Goku goes
Well, then
SS.
Trunks actually was stronger than that he showed, because he said, "Oh, I'll use full power once Goku turns into a Super Saiyan 3."
That's a good point. So Goku then goes SS3, and then he one-shots Trunks. So again, so, you know,
But I mean, like in the manga, Trunks is equal as a Super Saiyan 2 once he like powers up a little bit more to Goku's Super Saiyan 3, so he has to use the God form, the God transformation to beat him. But we have no idea, like, comparing the manga to the anime, like, how equivalent these forms would be anyway. Like,
yeah, it's hard.
In the anime, it seems clear that the Super Saiyan forms are stronger than Super Saiyan God. But in the manga, it seems like Super Saiyan God is still a form above them. Who knows? But, alright, so essentially, you know, thinking about this in our discussion, we have to decide, you know, how strong do you think a character needs to really be to defeat their opponent in Dragon Ball? For me, I feel like 20% and up is like a great indicator. You know, you can still kind of like edge somebody out with 10%, but they're still going to fight back a good amount. 20% is still like they're still going to fight back a little bit, but 20% to 2 times, you pretty much have somebody beaten. I know a lot of people will say, okay, well, in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball in general, well, you might not need to be stronger than your opponent. Like, you could still beat them even if you're weaker, but almost every fight we see in this franchise comes down entirely to strength. Like, off the top of my head, Goku versus Pikkon, you know, is like Goku beats him because he has instant transmission, figures out a weakness, but, you know, most of the fights come down just entirely to strength or down to super stamina.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I feel like it's not really important to discuss that. It's more like how strong you need to be to beat and dominate someone, and I feel like 20 times to 2, or 20% to 2 times is better.
Yeah, that's yeah, I agree with that. The only thing I would have to say is people wondering how strong do you have to be, like, to sort of just keep up with your opponent. I think Nappa and Goku is a good example, right? Because Goku was over 8,000, and people assume that Nappa's full power is a bit over 6,000, you know? And I think Goku remarks that if he had taken Nappa's full power attack straight on, that he would have been in some trouble, you know?
Yeah, and it would have taken him all day, I guess, to beat Nappa, is what he was saying, too.
So,
so that's like a 1.5 times difference if Nappa is about 6,000 and Goku is about 8,000, so he could still kind of compete with them, like, a little bit. Like, 1.5 times is still, but Goku still is gonna beat him.
he was outclassing him, you know? He was, like, standing on his head for God's sakes.
Yeah, so Goku still was, like, a good amount above Nappa, but he eventually had to use the Kaioken to outspeed and defeat Nappa before he got to Gohan and Krillin and everyone.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a pretty good, like, again, a pretty good range. We always see this, like, 20%, 1.5, 2 times in this series. I think that's a pretty good one to go on. You don't need to be 50 times. You don't need to be 100 times or billion or trillion or billion times stronger. You can just be 20%. You can kick the crap out of your opponent. So, let us know your own thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this discussion, if you'd like to hear us talk a little bit more and more discussions about, you know, our general thoughts on this stuff. You know, there's so many ideas and so many topics and so many discussions that we could really discuss about power levels and, you know, power scaling at least. You know, we usually don't go on power levels because they're not really factored in anymore. Maybe there's algorithms to figure them out. Maybe we'll discuss that at some other point in the future. But let us know your own thoughts down below. And make sure to go over to MJ's channel and also to check out his content. And I'm sure if you like this video, you're going to like everything that happens over on his channel as well. So make sure to give him a subscribe. And don't forget to check out my Twitter account so that you can see all of my updates as they come along, as well as to subscribe to my channel and to hit those notifications, because if you like this video, you're going to want to see all my other videos as they come out, when they come out. So make sure to subscribe to MJ and myself and to hit those notifications on both of our channels, because I feel like you're going to have a lot of fun if you do. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, stick around, because there is a lot more to come in the future. In Dragon Ball Super, a number of transformations have been introduced throughout the course and the runtime of this series. At first, we were introduced to the new transformation of Super Saiyan God, the legendary godly transformation when all the Saiyans come together, the pure-hearted 6 Saiyans, and infuse their hearts into one Saiyan with a pure heart, giving him this godly transformation. But after Goku absorbed that world of power within his being and Vegeta trained, they unlocked the next transformation, Super Saiyan Blue, which was that next step in the next level in the Super Saiyan transformations and what seemed like the ultimate transformation at the time. That is until we got into the Future Trunks arc of Dragon Ball Super, and we were left to behold the ultimate new transformation that was given to us via Goku Black himself, and that is the Super Saiyan Rose transformation. And today, myself and MJ from Geeklist TV are going to be discussing what we believe the multiplier for Super Saiyan Rose is in Dragon Ball Super. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all upcoming videos in the future. Hey guys, so today we are going to be discussing that topic and what we believe the multiplier for the Super Saiyan Rose transformation is, and we're going to be using the contextual clues and the contextual evidence from the anime itself, and we are additionally going to be using evidence from extra materials which we have been given by Toei and Shueisha and the people who work on Dragon Ball Super themselves, you know, to kind of give us an idea of what we believe it is. However, these things do have different interpretations, and so we're going to kind of run through some of those today. And so MJ, Geeklist TV himself, I'm going to throw it over to you right now, and we're going to be discussing some of that evidence. So first off, what do you feel the multiplier for the Super Saiyan Rose transformation likely is? And we'll, I guess, discuss what evidence we believe, you know, leans in that direction, and what other evidence you might be able to say might go against it, but then we'll come to a conclusion.
I feel like it is not 50 times. And I would probably have to say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of, on the spitball, around, in my opinion, 1.2 to about 2 times. 2 times being the absolute max. And this is the initial transformation, not after Goku Black's Zenkais or power-ups that he got throughout the fights afterwards, you know, his initial transformation jump.
So MJ, now that you did mention that 50 times, by the way, though, you know, there are a lot of people who are suggesting recently that it may in fact be, say, 50 times. Would you like to shed light on why people believe it's 50 times and why you and really myself may not necessarily lean in that direction?
Well, something recently came, well, it wasn't recent, but something that came out, and I believe it was a magazine, I could be wrong though, but it basically states, and this is from what Herms translated off of it, it mentions Rose as being Black's version of Super Saiyan, and that he is indeed a match for a Super Saiyan Blue, you know, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. But then again, when you look at that, bro, it says he's a match. Like, guys, if Black was able to land a kick on SS Blue Vegeta, like land a kick on him and actually make him sort of spit out a little bit, just cough up from the chest after that kick, and you multiply his base by 50 times, there's no way it's 50 times in my opinion. It's like he would completely wreck Goku Vegeta afterwards without even trying. Like, holding back, he would still be too much for him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It would be, I guess, akin to, say, you know, how Vegeta was so much more powerful than Buhan. But, you know, a lot of people have seen what that information from that magazine is stated, and they look at it and they say, okay, well, it says this is his version of Super Saiyan. This is, you know, a match for the Super Saiyan Blue of Goku and Vegeta. But when you think about it again, using contextual clues from the series, just because it's his version of Super Saiyan does not mean it is 50 times stronger. It could just be a transformation which he is using to access the full capacity of his power, and that's all transformations really do in the end. They allow you to access the full capacity of your power, whereas Super Saiyan has been established multiple times, and there are clues from the series that say it is the 50 times multiplier of the initial Super Saiyan. There is nothing that really suggests to me or to MJ thus far that it would be, say, 50 times. So, for example, when we look at Goku versus Frieza on Namek, now, when you see it there, you could see that Goku is a 3 million. Now, I know people don't really want to use power levels, but these were given to us by Toriyama and the Daizenshuu, you know, by Toei as well.
Yeah.
So we got to kind of use these real quick, but Goku, when he showed up, had a power level of, say, 3 million. Okay, when he was fighting against Frieza. And then he used Kaioken times 20. Now, Kaioken times 20 would make him 60 million, and we know Frieza's 50% essentially, like, canceled out his Kamehameha, and, you know, he was basically a match for him at that level. And then Frieza gets twice as strong as that, so 120 million. And so when Goku turns into a Super Saiyan, and Frieza, we know, is at 100% because he even counts up to it, when Goku turns into a Super Saiyan, he is still able to overpower and dominate Frieza at 100%, so it makes sense using contextual clues that Goku's Super Saiyan is between 40 plus times stronger. It's obviously more than 40 times as strong as his base form. But if we look at Goku and Vegeta versus Black with the Super Saiyan Rose transformation, what we're seeing is very different, because again, as MJ, you pointed out, when Black is